Hey everybody, Tony with Luz here today, and we want to talk a little bit about brake systems and bait caster reels. What's the benefits of different styles, and what's it really doing for you? If you're new to bait caster reels, or if you've been fishing them for a long time but not really sure of the ins and outs and specifically what the differences are that's offered in Luz, we're going to go into a little bit of depth with that today. So specifically with the ParaMag RX and ParaMag ITB systems. So first and foremost, the ParaMag systems are fully magnetic. There's no brake shoes or friction involved like a regular centrifugal system would have. And a big benefit there is, there's no friction, no rubbing, so you're not going to get any squealing or noises when those brake shoes get dry or they need lubrication. And there's no electronics or anything digitally involved either, which is obviously a big benefit when you're in a wet environment when you're fishing. So let's start kind of at the foundation. So ParaMag RX, this is our custom bait caster reel. It has the ParaMag RX system. And both RX and ITB have the same side plate design. So the magnets are housed inside this side plate, and when you turn up the brake dial on the side plate, of course, has the easy adjust, free all the way through 10 adjustment. When you turn those brakes up, to 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, those magnets are going to get further and further out from center, and that's when they get closer to the internal surface of the spool here. So when those magnets get closer to the internal surface of that spool, they're going to have more magnetic effect, and they're going to slow that spool down more powerfully, and it's going to be more of an effect on the cast, I guess. So you're always trying to dial in that perfect setting of castability and distance to also magnetic force to keep that backlash down. So these magnets are evenly distributed around the spool, and that's actually very important. Not something you hear about a lot, but even distribution is going to have a more powerful effect to help you control that cast. And it's going to keep that spool in perfect balance throughout the cast. So that's kind of the basic foundation of both, is the ParaMag RX. It's found in our custom, but it's also found in several other bait caster reels in our catalog today. When it's time to graduate up to a little bit higher end reel, a little bit more sophisticated braking system, that's where the ParaMag ITB comes into play. So this is our Custom Pro. You can easily identify it by kind of that gold paint job that it has. ParaMag ITB you're starting to see in some of our other reels in our catalog as well, but Custom Pro was the first one that had it. And to kind of show you the difference from the ParaMag RX and ITB, again, like I said, they've got the same kind of system in the side plate here, but the big difference is on the spool, it has this turbo disc collar. So the collar on the spool is it's spring loaded. So that first part of the cast, it's going to shoot outward, come around those magnets, and that's when those magnets are going to have the most effect on the spool. As your spool starts to slow down towards the back half of the cast, that collar backs off a little bit. The magnets don't have as much of an effect, and it's going to allow you to get a little bit more casting distance, which is really important, especially when you're throwing smaller, lightweight baits. That if you in a typical braking system, if you crank those magnets up, you're going to have a good bit of speed on that bait in the early part, and then it's going to shut down really fast. The benefit of this turbo disc and the ParaMag ITB allows you to get that extra casting distance and actually adjust the braking power throughout the cast. It kind of operates with the speed of the spool and the speed of the bait flying through the air. So you're going to have just a little bit more control and a little bit more castability with that ParaMag ITB system, and that's kind of why you're going to see it in some of those higher price point reels that have kind of the more advanced technologies. ParaMag RX and ParaMag ITB, you can't go wrong with either system. Both extremely effective at controlling backlashes, but ITB having just that little bit more castability and control throughout the cast. If you want to learn more about these braking systems in the Luz catalog, go to luz.com.